What made Viking warriors nearly unstoppable on the battlefield? Was it merely brute strength, or was there something more behind this legendary power? In this video, we'll dive into the incredible world of Viking warriors to uncover what truly set them apart. Beyond physical strength, the Vikings underwent intense physical, tactical, and mental training, transforming them into formidable forces. From rigorous combat exercises to the mental resilience they developed, we'll explore the path that forged these legendary warriors. Stay with us to discover the secrets behind the strength of the Vikings, their unique combat training, and the mental fortitude that made them unstoppable. Imagine training to become a powerful warrior without ever stepping foot in a modern gym. How did the Vikings achieve this? The answer lies in their daily lives. Viking warriors didn't need modern gyms to become the legends we know today. Their daily activities, like farming, fishing, and shipbuilding, were their real training grounds. Every task demanded strength and endurance. Chopping would strengthen their arms and shoulders. Carrying heavy loads, such as wood and stones, worked their backs and legs, while rowing for hours in their sturdy longships transformed their upper bodies into pure power. The Vikings were masters of the art of rowing. They spent hours rowing their heavy ships against currents, which strengthened not only their arms but also their core and shoulders. Think of it as the Viking version of an intense gym session, but with the wild ocean as their backdrop. It was constant training, without rest, that prepared them for the harshness of battle. Another fascinating aspect of Viking training was stone lifting. In Iceland, lifting heavy stones was a traditional practice to demonstrate strength. These stones were like ancient, giant dumbbells. Each Viking had to lift stones weighing over 150 kilograms, 330 pounds, to waist height to prove their strength and secure their place on a ship's crew. Do you think you could lift a stone as heavy as the Vikings did? What would be the biggest physical challenge for you? The Vikings' way of life was their greatest trainer. From rowing through rough seas to the hard work of lifting and carrying stones, every detail of their daily routine helped shape their bodies and prepared them for battle. It wasn't just about physical strength but about endurance and discipline, elements that made these warriors nearly unbeatable. But physical training was just the beginning. Beyond strength, the Vikings mastered the art of combat, and their tactics? Deadly. Stay with us to find out how they turned that brute strength into lethal strategies on the battlefield. It wasn't just brute force that made the Vikings unstoppable warriors. Their mastery of weapons and deadly battle tactics made them even more lethal. Want to know how they prepared for war? The Vikings were skilled with a wide range of weapons, from swords and axes to spears and bows. Each of these weapons required unique skills, and the Vikings practiced tirelessly to become experts in all of them. Among these weapons, the axe held a special place. It wasn't just an essential tool for their daily activities, like chopping wood and building, but it also became a deadly weapon on the battlefield. With an axe in hand, Vikings didn't just attack. They could disarm their opponents with lethal precision. The Viking axe, especially the famous bearded axe, had a curved blade that could be used to hook an enemy's shield or weapon, pulling it out of combat. Additionally, it was light enough to be wielded quickly, allowing for devastating attacks with less effort. This mastery of the axe set the Vikings apart in close combat battles. Besides the axe, the spear was one of the most common weapons. Affordable and versatile, it could be used both for long-range attacks and close combat. The bow allowed the Vikings to fight from long distances, ensuring that enemies were struck before getting too close. These skills were practiced constantly in simulated battles and group exercises. The Vikings took their skill practice seriously. They held simulated duels, both one-on-one and in groups, to refine their combat tactics. These fights helped to strengthen not only weapon techniques, but also the endurance and focus necessary for real battles. It was a way to prepare for the battlefield in a realistic manner. One of the Vikings' most feared tactics was the shield wall. This was a collective defense method where warriors formed a solid line with their shields, blocking enemy attacks. In addition to being an almost impenetrable barrier, the shield wall required immense coordination among the warriors. Constant training was necessary to ensure the formation remained intact during assaults. They practiced these formations in simulated drills, ensuring that, in the heat of battle, they were ready to withstand any onslaught. If you were in a Viking battle, which weapon would you choose? The power of the axe, the precision of the spear, or the range of the bow? Now that you know the weapons and tactics that made the Vikings deadly warriors, let's explore how their mental and strategic preparation completed the package. Did you know that the Vikings trained not only their bodies, but also their minds? Through games and competitions, they prepared themselves not just for physical battle, but also for the strategic decisions they would face on the battlefield. The Vikings believed that physical and mental preparation were equally important. For them, games weren't just a form of entertainment, but a way to strengthen their skills for battle. One of the most popular games among the Vikings was Glyma, a form of hand-to-hand wrestling that combined strength, balance, and agility. The Vikings also participated in tug-of-war competitions, which developed not only physical strength but also cooperation among warriors. These activities helped to improve their combat skills and endurance, while also strengthening bonds between tribe members. While strength was essential, the Vikings also needed a sharp mind. The game Nefadafel, a type of Viking chess, was a way to practice strategic thinking. In it, the player needed to defend the king surrounded by attackers from all sides, developing tactics to escape. This game required patience, planning, and tactical insight, fundamental skills in real battles. Would you prefer competing in strength games like Glyma, or using your mind in strategic games like Nefadafel? Which one do you think you do better at? Another fascinating aspect of Viking culture was the holmgang, a ritualized duel to settle disputes. When words weren't enough, Vikings would face off in one-on-one combat to prove their courage and skill. These duels were as much about honor as they were about skill, testing not only physical strength but also mental resilience and the ability to stay calm under pressure. More than physical strength or combat tactics, the Vikings believed that mentality was their most powerful weapon. To them, death was seen as predetermined, and this understanding gave them unshakable courage. Entering battle meant seeking glory, knowing that, if they fell, they would be remembered forever. This mindset made them fearless, ready to face any challenge without hesitation. Now that we've explored the physical training, combat, and mental preparation of the Vikings, what's left? The strategies and tactics that secured their success on the battlefield. Let's dive into their strategic minds and see how they won before even drawing a sword. Viking battles were a deadly blend of brute strength and sharp strategy. How did they manage to surprise their enemies so devastatingly? The answer lies in their tactical training. The Vikings weren't just fierce warriors, they were also skilled strategists. Every raid, every battle, was carefully planned to ensure maximum impact with minimal risk. Throughout their campaigns, they learned to master a variety of war tactics, quickly adapting to different enemies and terrains. The Vikings were masters of surprise attacks. Using rivers and the sea to their advantage, they coordinated their assaults so that the enemy rarely knew where the attack would come from. With their agile ships, the Vikings could navigate narrow rivers and land directly on shores, ready to surprise villages and unprepared armies. These lightning-fast raids, known for their speed and efficiency, often left their enemies disorganized and panicked. One of the Vikings' greatest strengths was their ability to learn and evolve. When encountering different cultures, they observed their enemies' tactics and incorporated them into their own strategies. From the lands of Western Europe to the Middle East, the Vikings absorbed what worked best in each place, becoming increasingly unpredictable and deadly warriors. Whether facing mounted soldiers or defenders of fortified cities, they always found a way to exploit their adversaries' weaknesses. Although Viking raids might seem chaotic at first glance, they were actually the result of careful planning. Before attacking, they gathered detailed intelligence about their enemies, their defenses, weaknesses, and escape routes. Viking merchants and spies played a crucial role, bringing valuable information that ensured attacks targeted the most vulnerable points. This meticulous preparation allowed the Vikings to strike with surgical precision, causing maximum damage in a short time. Throughout this video, we've seen how Viking warriors became nearly unbeatable. Their physical strength was shaped by daily tasks and intense endurance training. Their tactical genius allowed for surprise attacks and impressive adaptability to enemies. Additionally, their mental strength and unwavering courage, fueled by the desire for glory, led them to face any battle without fear. These combined elements made them one of the most feared forces in history. If you enjoyed learning about Viking tactics and preparation, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming videos. We have many more fascinating stories and strategies to share about these legendary warriors. In the next video, we'll dive deep into the legends of Valhalla. Is this famous hall of warriors really as many imagine? Discover the true story behind Valhalla and what it truly meant to the Vikings. Don't miss it.